Welcome to another Cinema Kane movie review. I am your host, Cinema Kane, and today I want to talk about a film that is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. I was 13 years old the first time I ever remember seeing The Godfather. So, the first time I saw The Godfather was when they re-aired the miniseries at some point in the 90s. And if you're not familiar with the miniseries, what that is they took The Godfather Part 1 and Part 2 and they put them into chronological order in the events that everything happened. And then they let everything play out in chronological order over, I want to say, like 4 episodes, like 2 hours an episode, something like that. As a result, in the years that followed, I would often be confused when I would watch The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2 because I didn't realize that the first time I had seen these films, I had watched them in chronological order, and that was not how they were made originally. Whatever. I digress. The Godfather is a classic that everyone needs to see. It's Shakespearean in how it's presented. It's, the king is dying and his sons, with their different skills and temperaments, are trying to figure out who will inherit the throne. I mean, doesn't get any more Shakespearean than that. The idea of the offer that no one can refuse. I want to make him an offer he can't refuse. My bad, Marlon Brando, but still. The truth is, the reason I think that this movie endures is the fact that not only do you have the perfect casting involved from the top down, but Francis Ford Coppola went out of his way to get certain people like Pacino and even Brando himself. He had so much pushback from the studio. It's kind of legendary in the industry because people are like, wow, I can't believe he had so much pushback. This movie's great. It was such a notorious production with regard to everything that was dealt with and put up with by not just the studio, but by also the cast, crew, and producers, that they made a TV show called The Offer that deals with all the problems they had leading up to the finished product. Now, part of this is going to focus primarily on The Godfather, which is what I've been doing up to this point. But I cannot stress to you that if you are a fan of The Godfather, you have got to see The Offer on Paramount Plus. I'm not sponsored by Paramount Plus. I'm not sponsored by Disney Plus. I'm simply talking about this content that really makes The Godfather somehow even more important of a film than it already was, because when you realize how much passion and drive was put into making sure the film we saw in 1972 was what it was, it somehow transcends art, because it's like, if this is the artist and this is the struggle that the artist had to overcome to make his art, suddenly the art becomes that much more important. At least that's how I see it. One of the things I found interesting that I never knew that The Offer explains is there was a very unusual lighting in The Godfather, and I never understood it really. Well, it turns out that the reason the lighting was the way that it was because they were trying to capture the portrait look like you would see on certain styles of old paintings. And it really makes sense when you look at the just absolute perfect amount of shadow on their faces. The fact that they have to stay, if you ever notice, the characters rarely move in some of those scenes. They have to stay in one place, otherwise they're going to lose the light. It's really interesting to me. On top of that, you've got the beautiful music mixed with Coppola sticking to his long run time that the studio wanted to truncate to like 2 hours simply so that they could get more audiences in. It's a beautiful film. It always has been. And if you're a fan, go watch The Godfather. And then, as soon as you do, watch The Offer. Because then you're going to want to watch The Godfather again. It's such a good show. It's such a good movie. And being that it's the 50th anniversary, I just wanted to discuss it on my channel. Are you a fan of The Godfather? Do you like The Godfather? If not, why not? And I'm sure several of you are going to say, 'cause it's too long. Matter of opinion. Alright, I'm Cinema Kane. This has been a Cinema Kane review. And I'll see you guys at the video store.